Alright everyone, say it with me. This is why Soraya will never be on anyone's PR list. Hello y'all and welcome back to my channel. Today I have probably what is going to be a very short review, at least in sense of, you know, swatching the products and talking about them. I'm gonna go a little bit kind of in depth on some thoughts, but talking about the product on a whole is probably just gonna be a little shorter because the palettes we're reviewing today are just a little bit smaller. Like these are like Huda Beauty Obsessions palette size. I think they also have the same amount of shades and they're kind of in the same price point. But these are the Anastasia Beverly Hills 2 more palettes, 2 more installments in the Norvina collection brand within a brand oversaturation craziness. They are the Mini Pro Pigment palettes, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And this, I believe, brings Anastasia up to 9 palettes released in this 2019 calendar year. And y'all, the year ain't up yet. They still got time, and you know, with the way they're going, they're probably going to use that time. But these are just these cute 2 little babies. You've got the first one here, which is very like reminiscent more of the, you know, shades from the Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the big normal size Pro Pigment palettes. The matte to shimmer ratio is fantastic. You got 2 shimmers and 7 mattes, so you all know I'm about that life. And then the second one is more akin birth out of the third palette, which is my personal favorite of the 3 large Pro palettes. Second verse, same as the first. Absolutely love the matte to shimmer ratio. You got 2 and then 7. I love. Little sneak peek. This shimmer right here, all in here. Yes, love. I want to marry this. I need this shade all over everything. So we've got the 2 bad boys going on here. They are a Sephora exclusive, a limited edition, $29, we might as well round up, $30 job palettes. Now, if y'all haven't seen my Anastasia brand breakdown video where I review and talk about the Carly Bible palette as well as address sort of the influx and the absurdity of absolutely all the palettes and products that Anastasia has come out with recently, definitely check that out. These things right here, I mean, they released those Pro palettes back to back and then they were like, oh, Norvina's gonna have an end cap at every Sephora, and they're like, look, 2 little palettes, and we're like, what? Why so many? Why so many? And there is still all manner of speculation as to why they have been oversaturating the market. Norvina's all like, well, people get bored. And I'm like, we're getting bored for a different reason than why you're shilling products. We're getting bored because you're releasing something every other week. Not because we have a need for you to release more to excite us. We're bored with you because you won't stop trying to excite us. But still, y'all know how I am. I'm a huge fan of the large palette, whatever formula. I think they are some of the best colored palettes on the market currently. I think they're some of the best releases in 2019. And the fact that they're not permanent colored palettes, and honestly, like that's another thing that gets me. Sorry, this is gonna be kind of a, like, I'm gonna be reviewing these bad boys, but we're also gonna get into some philosophical discussion. So if you don't like that, you might want to click out now. But if it's true that this whole Norvina thing is a brand within a brand, why are we making all the products we release with it limited edition? Like, in my little non-savvy business mind, I would be like, okay, we're trying to establish a new brand. Don't you typically establish new brands with permanent products that people can go back to and see, you know, in the progression of your brand? I mean, maybe they have like this much hope in it and they're like, well, if we make everything limited edition, it'll sell and we don't have to worry about people not coming back to it. But that is just my speculation. I don't think it makes any sense. But like I said, I'm not a savvy business person. I'm not a business person at all. Which is funny because I want to go back to school for a degree in business. Maybe after that I'll be able to speak with some authority on the said marketing marketing and reasoning behind releasing 50 billion palettes in 1 calendar year. But as for right now, we're just gonna swatch it. We're gonna start with the number 1 going on here. Beautiful, lovely colors. They're sleek, they're compact, magnetic closure, all that jazz. The names of these are as A through A, 1 through 3, B, why is this so hard? B1 through B3, and C1 through C3. So I'm just gonna swatch them. So we got this pretty pinky coral going on here, nicey nice. We got this shimmer right here, which is actually what I used in my inner corner highlight today. And then this one last year, which is a matte, but it's like got like that whole micro glitter coming in. And I don't know if y'all could see. Can y'all see the like craziness, falloutness going on there? And I just kind of ran my finger a little bit, and there's all kinds of like all kinds of powder up in there. But powder aside, ooh, smoothie smooth. I will say I love. This is the closest I have come to finding a dupe for Kat Von D's Metal Crush Shadow in Thunderstruck. This is almost spot on. Not that that helps me in the highlighter department because this pan is teeny tiny, but in the eyeshadow department, yay me. And then this one right here, which is very pigmented, but like I said, it's got that kind of like that powdery falloutiness going on. Then row 3, wait, no, this way. And we got this beautiful like melony pinky redness. I mean, that is just, these colors, these little teeny tiny curated things, I'm like, yes, I am down. This is amazing. And we have this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And then this hot pinky purpley magenta-iness. Got them here. Here, that one's a little chunkier to work with. And this, right there. Then last but not least, this row here of the darker purples going on. I must admit, this middle one feels a little bit not as smooth, but all of these, except for this one right here, minimal fallout, not going all kinds of crazy. And we have them right here. I absolutely love this row. Those two purples are like, this is when I say purple, like, you know how people are like, oh, purpley tones and whatever. When I think of purple, that's what I think is like purple. That's like the true purple in my mind. Then on to volume 2, which is what I used the majority of my eyes today. I started off with this shade, which y'all would have seen on my Snapchat. I was like, behold the pigment. And then I just went into this one to deepen it up. Then I did that kind of on this. And then I went into this one right here and this shimmer all up in there. I also used the bright orange to set the liquid lipstick I used for an eyeliner today. All right, we're going yellow. These are like kind of like, I don't want to say they're pastels, but they're kind of like softer, diffused, muted whateverness. Now this green here is a little bit powdery. You are gonna get that kick up and everything going on. Can you see it? Probably not. One of these days I'll be a real YouTuber and have a camera and stuff and all that jazz. And then this orange right here, which just, I mean, look at those 3. They're beautiful. Yellow, not the best yellow I've ever used. The best yellow I've ever used is the Vivid Rain colored pigments, which has been discontinued, which sucks. Oh my goodness, that like jade muted matcha color. I live it. I live for it. They're just so pretty. The yellow isn't bad. It can be built up, but it's just not like the most like on the first, you know, dip in. Then this one right here. Oh my stars. This is another shadow that in the definition of heckin' pigmented, you're going to see a picture of this. Then we got this nice kind of, oh my goodness. These are the kind of Anastasia shimmers that I live for because they're so smooth, beautiful, buttery, creamy, intense. Everything I could absolutely want. Now this shade here is probably, as beautiful as it is, it's probably my least favorite in the palette because I find that it is the least consistent. This right there, that swatch does not do that shade justice. And then this one here, like it's pigmented, Don't get me wrong, it's really heckin' pigmented, but I found that this one you had to work a little more to make it blend, and I feel like I've used other green shadows from ColourPop, from Sydney Grace, that are just as dark, just as opaque, but are a lot easier to blend. Then last row we got going on right here, just... and then this, which is probably my favorite shade, my favorite eyeshadow released in 2020. I am being 110% serious. I love it! And then this nice, really pretty brown, which is very, very softy soft. Y'all know I'm not a huge neutral person, but I live for a good, smooth, heckin' pigmented brown. Here we got that. And then, it's a little chunky. But I love it. I love it. It's like all things limoncello amazingness. And then the brown, which is a fantastic brown. Okay, so right out of the starting gate, quality-wise, I absolutely love these. I would actually say that a lot of the shades provided in here, especially this one, aside from this green one, which is a little stubborn. Some of the formulas of these are actually kind of better than the ones in the big one. They're compact, they're quality, they're great. The matte to shimmer ratio, from a complete, just unbiased, uncorrelated, just looking at these on their own, I love them. I think the quality is beautiful. I love how singularly curated they are. You know I love the ColourPop little shadows, the Huda Beauty whatever session palettes. So these kind of fall into that like mini, teeny tiny, but really freaking powerful palettes. I think if you're wanting to pick up something colorful, but you don't want to go on in something really big, which is honestly what I feel like Anastasia is working on doing with this, because they released the whatever ones and people were like, that's a lot of color in one big giant expensive palette. And so Anastasia was just like, well, how about a little bit of color for less money? This is another type of thing where I'm like, if Anastasia were to keep this sort of format and release other and just more unique and concise color stories, I think these would do really well. Would it have been better to release them in the spring or the summer of 2020? Yeah. But like I said, quality-wise, I cannot say anything bad about these. If you're just going from a quality, color story, whatever standpoint, yes, these get my mark of approval. Okay, let's get into where it's not so much that I have issue, but kind of if you look at these after and taking into consideration the big palettes, why do we need these? And I understand there are all y'all out there who don't want a big giant palette, who don't want to spend $60. I've got a lot of you who've got that conversion rate, and that $60 palette turns into $112. That's a lot of color and that's a lot of money. And so this is catered to, you know, not so much a different demographic as it is for a consumer who wants something not as big, not as intense, not as such a large investment. However, for not being such a large investment, I'm rounding up. These things are $29. I'm just gonna slap 30 on them. You have $30 for 9 shades. Or you tack on another 30 and get more than double the color. Coming from a price point of view and looking at these palettes, when you're like, okay, you're investing in, you know, a smaller version of these for a different, you know, different kind of consumer, but you're really not making them that much better in the price point department considering what you get. If these had been 22, 24, I feel like it would be a less painful, because when you look at the size different here, and I understand size isn't everything, but you're like, okay, this one's 60 and this one's 30, you know, we're slicing the price in half, but I feel like it's not equally distributed, especially considering the fact, I mean, obviously I have an eyeshadow problem. I did not need these little ones. I wanted to try them out, and Norvina apparently assured us that the colors provided in these mini ones would be different than the ones in the big ones, which if it wasn't, if it had just been like, Norvina picked her favorite shades from the palettes, they would have been rioting in the streets. We would have had pitchforks and flames. It would not have been pretty. Because if there's one thing we don't like doing, is paying more money for stuff we've already bought. Kind of like that Morphe James Charles palette situation. But okay, they're different shades. And they are. Put it like this. Okay, I'm not a professional YouTuber. Forgive me. I don't know how to do this. But you're like, okay, all right. They may not be the same. And I understand certain color stories just lend themselves to looking similar. But it's like, definitely for someone who bought this, they ain't gonna need this. And while this mini one here sort of lends itself to the best of both the number one and the number two, it sort of stands to reason that, like, you know, we've already seen it. Yes, it's great that you're making a smaller, more accessible version of the large ones, but it literally is a case of, we've seen it. You're shilling so much. This is exactly why we're bored. Not because there's an actual need in the market, not because we're actually pining and needing and lusting after new Anastasia makeup. We're bored because y'all keep releasing the same shiz over and over again. And I'm not knocking the quality. These are great. I know for a fact I'm going to reach for them a lot, especially since they are so compact. They make the whole concept of doing your makeup a lot easier than, you know, carrying around one of those big bad boys. But when you take the fact that this is half of, you know, what one of the big one is, you're not getting half of the large pro palettes. You're getting just a little teeny tiny sampling. I'm like, just go on in. If you're wanting to invest in color, just tack on that extra 30. And I know it's an extra 30, but just get the big one and get more bang for your buck. You know, I'm not personally offended. I'm not shooketh. I'm not whatever. I just kind of question the reasoning at which Anastasia is releasing things, tacking prices onto things. It's just, is there any rhyme or reason, or are we just desperately throwing everything out there while trying to establish a new brand while releasing nothing but limited edition products? I'm just a little confused. So from a quality standpoint, these are great. I absolutely love them. I'm super glad I picked them up. From a price breakdown, from, you know, certain other aspects of my psyche, I'm honestly not sure how much quality for money you're getting. And now before I go on that, I know a lot of you are gonna be like, but you buy the Huda Beauty, you buy the whatever. I understand that. But even Huda Beauty's price point, how many shadows she has, the smaller palette price point makes more sense than these when you look and see, you know, how much you get in price for the large pro palettes. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a business person. I just think it's a little strange and not entirely practical or necessary. But obviously all of that is up to debate. These are only my personal opinions. I know a lot of you were like, really? Do we really need these? And there was kind of a resonating and resounding no. When I bought these, they still didn't have any reviews on Sephora, and I'm like, dang, ain't nobody buying these. Because if we bought the pro palettes, we have it already. Except that beautiful pale green shade. I will, that pale green jade yellow and this right here, I will stand by. The $30 was worth those two because I'm a slut for green. Oh, Soraya, say it ain't so. But obviously, let me know what you think down below. You have these, you love them, you hate them. What you feel about this whole, you know, saturation palettes every other week, palettes of the same color stories that are just smaller. Because I love hearing all y'all's opinions. And I love how I said this was going to be like a short review, but we're sitting at like 30 freaking minutes right now. This is probably going to end up being a palette discussion, but obviously, let me know down below what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. And as always, keep it real. Mwah.